All right, I think I am live. Hello, friends. It's been a minute since I've done one of these kinds of reaction videos, so let's do one of these kinds of reaction videos. All right, I've got Jim Lettuce pulled up. Jim Lettuce. All right, let me see. Hang on. Jim Lettuce. There we go. Show that. Cool. All right, let's go.
Adam, don't eat pork. You can eat halal. What I allow you, because I create you. You don't know nothing. Before you slaughter, you have to slaughter beautifully.
Vegan takes Muslim guy's joke very badly. Uh-oh.
How do you slaughter beautifully and healthily?
Okay.
You say God is compassionate, right? God is merciful. What is most compassionate? Killing them with electricity, killing them in a halal way, or not killing them at all? Doesn't make sense.
You are a kid.
We don't need meat.
You are a kid.
I'm a kid.
You need to study. You need to study.
Do you think I haven't studied this?
But when you eat goat,
Oh, no. When we last spoke, we both agreed that it's all unnecessary,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You could say that halal is better, or this way is better, or that way is better, but it's all unnecessary, you know?
you can eat vegetarian.
Vegan.
Vegan.
Yeah.
Vegan means vegetarian.
No. So vegetarian is like where you don't eat any meat,
Yeah.
you don't eat animal flesh.
Uh-huh.
Vegan is where you oppose their exploitation. So you don't,
Because-
you oppose, so you're against their exploitation.
Okay.
So animals being exploited for their skin, their flesh, their fur, entertainment, testing, all of this.
So for animal.
Yeah.
I see the people killing cow, electricity, shaking his body.
Yeah, but you know, animals, they suffer when they're killed for halal as well.
When it's halal, it's good.
No, it's not. It's not. Joey Carbstrong did a investigation into a halal slaughterhouse.
What is this?
Oh, it's for Anonymous for the Voiceless. Halal slaughterhouse, this is.
Yeah.
So here you see animals, they're terrified, like screaming for their lives. They struggle, they try and escape, they panic.
Yeah.
And this is a halal slaughterhouse. You know, they're terrified. They're in this holding area here. They have to be forced in there because they can smell the blood.
Yeah.
They can hear the cries of the other animal.
Yeah.
What's up, Neil?
It's very
What's up,
cruel.
Tess?
Very cruel. Scary for them. Look, he won't move. And the workers, they have to force them. They don't want to die
Yeah.
because they're like us. They want to live
Yeah.
free from harm and exploitation. They try and escape. They don't want to go there because they know.
If I invite you to my house, I'm gonna give you lamb meat. You're not gonna eat.
Mate, that's just
I'm gonna
disrespectful.
force you. I'm gonna put your mouth.
I'm not talking to you.
I'm joking.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, but
love you, I'm
we're
joking.
trying to have a serious conversation here.
Yeah.
That's
That's fucked up.
disrespectful.
Why the government they don't stop?
Because people are paying for it and they want people's money. These industries.
I don't like when they kill animal electricity. It's suffering. You know, most of them they don't care. They care.
But what about when they
It's
kill
about money.
animals this
You know,
way?
This one suffering. They don't care. They care about money.
This happens for halal.
This one.
Yes.
Wallah.
Because what happens?
Serious?
Yeah.
How do you like get into a conversation like this and you're like smiling and laughing? It's not.
100%. Because
It's
we
not a normal reaction.
don't have halal farms
Yeah.
in the UK. So what happens is they spend their lives suffering because they've been bred into these bodies
It's a
that
defense
cause them to suffer, and they can't
It's a defense mechanism of feeling uncomfortable.
walk or stand, and they sometimes die on the floor here. On every single farm, there will be a small amount of casualties. There'll always be incidents. You won't get any farm with like a 0% death rate. It's just unheard of. So this happens for halal. And then they get taken to a halal slaughterhouse and they have a halal
They have a 100% death rate.
sticker on.
Animal suffering. I'm against. I don't like.
But you're funding it.
I should. No, I'm not funding.
100%. If you're not vegan, animals will be suffering on your behalf. Whether that being when they're being slaughtered or whether that be on the farm before they get sent to the slaughterhouse. And this is fishing.
This is mine.
If you eat fishes, they suffocate to death. There are no halal guidelines for fish.
Fish is the best.
They're killed in all kinds of horrible ways.
We need to stop them.
And I said to you last time we spoke, I said that the only way you can ensure that nobody is suffering on your behalf is to go vegan.
Yeah, I'm going to be vegan.
You are.
Yeah.
For real this time.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to Tesco. Come back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
I mean, he just said, like, you come over to my house, I'm going to feed you lamb. Some kind of joke.
All right.
Long
You
time
too.
no see.
Yeah.
I'm being more selective in terms of what long form videos I'm currently posting, but I thought this one was particularly interesting because I rarely get to speak to someone for a second time after outreaching them. A few
Right.
things to comment on. I know there are a lot of vegans out there who don't like the word suffering. I only focused on this as much as I did because he said that he opposed it, and I was trying to appeal to him and make the argument that if he does oppose this, he should avoid all animal exploitation because suffering is inevitable in systems of exploitation. If you've seen Joey Carbstrong's most recent halal investigation, you'll understand why I thought the joke he made was really distasteful and disrespectful. I was showing him very graphic footage of extreme violence towards defenseless individuals enduring the worst moments of their lives. And by making
I don't understand why we would have an issue with the word suffering. Why are people like word policing so often? I don't get it. Don't know how Jim keeps facing this idiocy. Yeah. Some people don't understand the concept that there are other people that are more intelligent than them, or even that they might know something that they don't. Yeah. I guess sometimes it's hard to admit you're not the smartest person in the room, right?
making a joke after that, saying that he was going to feed them to me. I felt like he was kind of making a mockery out of what I just showed him. I also want to comment on the fact that I said on every farm there will always be a small number of casualties. Of course, when you're comparing this number to the billions being slaughtered, you could say it's a small amount in comparison, but I really don't want to downplay this because it is still a lot due to the large scale of things. If you've got this far, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts below if you have any, and thank you to any.
Is she differentiating between the farm and the slaughterhouse? Because they're all going to the slaughterhouse, so I don't know. So I would say that they have a 100% death rate. If he's talking about like, oh, do some animals die on the farm before they reach the slaughterhouse? Yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
Anybody who supports me as a member on Patreon or YouTube, the more of this I have.
All right. Jim Lettuce, everybody. She's doing a nice job. Yeah, like, I mean, I understand the point, Brett, about the word suffering, but I mean, I get the point, but I think like that level of nitpicking is just, I don't know. It's like demoralizing to an activist, right? It's just, oh, I could have said this word or I could have said that word. Well, I was outreaching. Like, we're all trying our best, you know. Nobody's above criticism, obviously, and we could always do better. But yeah, I mean, we are concerned about suffering. We're concerned about rights. We're concerned about suffering. I mean, I am. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Let's check out Mel and Steve, because it wouldn't be a Jeremy stream if we didn't. And it's been a minute since I did a Mel and Steve or any kind of reaction. Oh, congrats on the AAC job / placement. Well, I'm just going to host some episodes of their podcast. It's not really a job. It's not unemployment or anything like that. But thank you. That is an easy yes for me to just say yes to them. AAC, Animal Activism Collective. They're such a great. They are so effective, and they've been so good for the movement, pulling people together, doing their convergences. Yeah, honestly, like, if not for AAC, I feel like our movement would be in a way worse place right now. And we would not be getting the wins that we've been getting without AAC. Pretty confident of that. Not saying there aren't a ton of other people involved, which there are, but AAC has a lot to do with it. Okay, Mel and Steve. Oh, by the way, this is a dual stream. Just reminding folks, like this thing about that there's 2 streams. There's a vertical stream for mobile, and there's a landscape mode for computers going on at the same time. That's a new StreamYard thing. What's up, Nilf? What's up, Evil Steven? And see, there's an example. Nilf is on mobile right now. Evil Steven also on mobile. But Neil on landscape. So Neil's like, who the there's no Nilf. There's no Steven. There is. There is. I didn't just make it up. Guys, it was Nilf's birthday the other day. I gave Nilf the best birthday present a man could give another man the other day. Look, take that however you want. Take that however you want. I went through the mentorship program there. It was amazing. Nice, nice, nice. Hopped over there. Cool, cool, cool. Evil Nilf, indeed. All right. Let's see what kind of conversation Mel had. Vegan grossed out by meat.
Like animals, they put all strange chemicals in them.
If you're eating animals, that shouldn't be a worry for you. You're eating a dead corpse. That's gross.
Yeah.
Are you all right to have a quick chat about what we just saw?
Yeah, it's going to go anywhere.
We just do a YouTube channel just to help educate other people.
Okay.
Well done for doing the challenge. Did you get all the way through? Yeah. Was there any standout moments in that?
Hang on. Did I put the link to Jim's video? Let me scroll back up. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. You guys know what to do. Go and, sub to Jim Lettuce and Mel and Steve. I'll put that link here at the end. What's up, Jason?
Culling's tough watch. The bit at the end there with the carbon monoxide pigs, that was...
The gas chambers.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
Guys, also sub to my channel.
It was a tough watch.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what you just saw was standard practice. How does it make you feel to see that happening to animals?
Sad.
Do you know why they are doing that to animals?
It's profit, isn't it? It's just cheaper in that regard to keep them in that way. If you free range every animal properly, then that'd be more expensive than being a battery farm.
Even if we did have free range animals everywhere, because free range doesn't mean like what you think it means.
Yeah.
Free range still, like, it's not really anything better for the animals. It just makes the consumer feel better about paying for it. So I used to buy like free range eggs because I thought, oh, that's better. I didn't understand the male chicks go in the blender alive. I didn't understand that they go to a gas chamber 18 months.
Yeah.
So they're doing this because people want to eat animals. So do you want to see this continue, or would you want to see this stop and abolished?
Those practices abolished. Yeah.
Abolished, yeah. How quickly?
Immediately, really.
Immediately.
I don't think I could go fully vegan, to be honest, but I would much rather see the meat industry be more ethical.
Okay, I want to go with what you just said there with the ethical part. How can you ethically take someone's life from them who doesn't want to die? And by the way,
That's quite deep.
I'm not judging as well, by the way. It's just an open conversation.
I think in some ways we are the highest on the food chain. So in some ways,
I'm judging.
I think we do have some form of dominion over animals.
Okay.
I think we do have
Judged negatively.
an obligation, though, to do that respectfully.
Okay.
If you get what I mean.
And how do you respectfully kill someone who doesn't want to die? Even if you think you're top of the food chain or whatever, how do you respectfully do that?
I think you endeavour to make their life as enjoyable and their death as painless as possible.
Say like you went up to someone in the street here and you killed them, they didn't know.
Like the whole thing, like how people get so butthurt that they're getting judged by vegans. Like everybody's getting judged all the time by everybody. So yeah, I am judging everybody and being extremely judgmental about your eating animals' habits.
Anything about it. Is that still justified?
No, I'd say because they're a human, that's different.
Okay, and what's the difference between the human and the animals?
I'd say humans, we are top of the food chain, we're conscious.
John AR, what's up? What's up? What's up?
It's almost like...
Do you think might makes right?
Hang on. Watch Dominion 2018. If you can get through Dominion, you'll be vegan. What's up, Felix? Yeah, we're worried about animals. Correct, OJ Simpson. Yes. Congratulations, you figured it out. We're worried about animals. It's a vegan channel. Congrats. Okay. They don't care about human babies being aborted as much as they care about chicken. Yeah, because that's what this is about. This is about abortion.
Because you think we're higher? Do you think that's okay to then oppress?
Not oppress. I mean, you could make the argument that oppressing is killing them. And I think that is a valid argument. But I think there is a difference between a chicken and a human. I think you can't really...
What is the difference? What is the difference that justifies killing one and not the other, though?
I guess in some ways humans are conscious. They do have the capacity to reason and whatnot.
Humans are conscious and they have the capacity to reason and whatnot, but not animals. Animals not conscious. No. It's not like animals have eyes, which, by the way, are used for seeing, ears, which are used for hearing, nerve endings, which are used for feeling, noses, which are used for smelling, tongues, which are used for tasting. You don't need consciousness for those things.
Okay.
Chickens are clever. I see.
They are. Yeah,
chickens
they're
are
clever.
And they can reason. They do play and they whatnot. But
So do you base it on intelligence?
not intelligence as such. Consciousness.
Okay.
So
What about a
animals are
human
conscious.
who had lower consciousness than us? Is it okay to oppress them?
No. I think they have the capacity. They have the capacity to high consciousness, right?
But they don't know. So
Yeah, they don't.
does that justify killing them because they don't have high consciousness?
No.
So they have a consciousness of a chicken?
No.
No.
No. I definitely see your point.
What animals do you eat at the moment? Like cows, pigs, chickens.
pigs.
Drink cow's milk and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do make sure to get my milk directly from a farm that I trust, though.
oh no.
Oh, good. Good.
Milk shed that
Oh
I trust.
really?
No, that's great. No, I'm glad that you get your cow's milk from a farm that you trust, like everybody, right? That's what all the meat eaters do. They have a farm that they trust. Yeah, that's always what happens, right? It's not just something you say when you're put on the spot. I'm trying to remember if I ever used to say dumb shit like that. I feel like I might have said some dumb shit. Guys, I've said dumb shit in my past. I know it all sounds brilliant now, but no, there's been some.
Even like I'll get back to that.
What up, Kane?
But if you saw these animals here, would you be like, which one do I fancy today? Do I fancy like the cow today or the pig? And would you?
No, it'd be bloody grossed out, to be honest.
So you couldn't do it yourself?
No.
Okay. So if you couldn't do it yourself, what about if there's another option where you don't have to kill anybody? Would you like
Are
that
you like
option?
vegan substitutes?
Yeah,
John
anything.
AR,
Plants like
yeah.
potatoes, legumes, anything.
Just want to know what's going into it. It's my worry
Great activists.
with those is that they're trying so hard to make them taste like animals. They put all strange chemicals in them.
Well, it's actually just plants. Like, what
Yeah.
if you're worried about what you're consuming?
I mean, sure, on Elwood's farm, sometimes the dogs explode, but really that's because they weren't milked properly. You know, you have to milk the dogs or else they'll explode, obviously. I mean, if y'all didn't know that, I feel like a lot of people don't know that about dogs, that they need to be milked or they'll explode. And that's your ignorance, okay? That's your ignorance. Watching from work where I'm the only one around. Everyone else is at the holiday lunch, which I've skipped since I took the Liberation Pledge in early 2019. No celebration at someone else's expense. Damn right, Felix. Yeah. Yes. I grasp it. I grasp it.
if you're eating animals, that shouldn't be a worry for you.
Yeah.
Because what they are consuming and what's in their body, like you're eating a dead corpse. Like, that's gross.
It's been done for millions of years.
I used to eat animals as well, by the way. And you know what made them taste nicer? Is putting plants on them, ketchup, and stuff like that. But
Makes me hungry.
But if you don't have to harm animals, I'm wondering why you would choose to harm them when you know there's another option.
You make a good point.
And you
I'll
don't have
dig
to
a little more into the other alternatives, because I guess when these weren't an alternative, I think it's absolutely just eating these absolutely just
for survival.
Maybe now, because there are alternatives, you're in the wrong not looking into those. It will lead to less harm in the long run, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah, you seem to have a kind heart. Like, I want to get back to the point where you.
Yeah, even though this guy's making some of the common excuses, he is at least engaging honestly. I appreciate that. I know the bar is very low.
Drive 40 minutes to buy cow's milk?
Yeah, I trust them
Okay.
to look after their cows. I see them grazing, and
so you're trying to do a better thing because you know the dairy industry is bad.
So yeah, I see them grazing. I trust them. So you see what they show you. So you trust them with their probably really expensive bullshit milk that you drive 40 minutes to go get. You're definitely not going to feel silly when you learn how the babies are separated from the mothers, how they cry out for their young, how the moms are sent to slaughterhouses, how the boys are probably sent for veal or discarded. You're not going to feel like a dope that you spent that 40 minutes driving out to that fucking hellhole with the rolling hills and the grass. Just trying to save you some trouble, man. Look, I was there. I used to buy Organic Valley milk, fucking Organic Valley milk with the little cartoons on the side of the carton that showed where the farm was. It said, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Davis raised these cows. Showed where they were. Nice little cartoon. Maybe even a photograph. Man, I used to buy that shit. Oh, man. Fuck Organic Valley.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Explain the dairy industry. What do you know about it?
I know cows are relentlessly milked in some farms.
What, sorry?
Relentlessly milked?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know why cows produce milk?
Yes.
Why?
To rear calves, right?
For their babies. Yeah, just like humans. So what you probably don't see, and this is just standard on all farms, is that cows are forced to be impregnated. So they call it artificial insemination, whether that's a rod like through their bum, or the farmer puts his arm inside her and injects her with bull semen. To start with, I have an issue with that, because if someone did that to me, I would call that. If someone penetrated me without my consent, I'd be like, oh, no way. So that's the start of it. Then she carries her baby for, do you know how long she carries her baby? 9 months, just like a human. When she gives birth to the baby, if they're a baby boy, do you know what they do with them?
Kill it. Or, well, rear it for meat? I don't know.
So they're a different breed. So there's beef cows and there's dairy cows. So the dairy cows, if they have a boy, they're not profitable to the farmer. So yeah, you're right. They kill them. They want to make profit from the cow's milk because they can't drink the cow's milk. Otherwise the farmer won't have any to sell. What's your thoughts on that so far? And that's just like the tiny bit I've told you.
I don't think that's good practice. No.
Not good. No. So that is like the standard. That is like, you can't do it any other way, basically. Do you think the calves should be drinking the milk and not us?
I think we both should.
You think we both should? Why is that?
Calves need the milk to grow up, and I think milk's good for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I used to think the same. I used to think, I need to drink cow's milk for my calcium and strong bones and stuff, because that's all I was ever told on TV. But actually, you don't need to drink cow's milk. The only species in the world that needs to drink cow's milk is baby cows. Like humans, like the only species that need human breast milk,
isn't good for you.
No,
it's not.
It actually it's too acidic for our environment.
So your mother's milk would have been good for you as a baby until you were weaned. And then when you've been weaned, you don't need any more milk, which is kind of common sense. But we were all brainwashed. I'm not going to say I wasn't either. I used to drink milk long after I weaned. Thought it was good for my bones. Because a commercial told me so, guys. A commercial told me. Some celebrity got on there, like Shaquille O'Neal, with the little milk mustache thing. And it was like, you know, milk, it does a body good. And yeah, I didn't question it because I was stupid.
I don't usually talk about the health side of it, but our environment needs like an alkaline system to break down our food. So when something goes in our body that's too acidic, like cow's milk, it actually uses phosphate calcium from our bones. So it actually weakens your bones. But the adverts will show you different because they're trying to make money and they're trying to sell it to us. So like today, like you've probably never seen what you've seen on the screen today, and you probably didn't know much about these standard practices in the dairy industry, and I was exactly the same. But when I did find out, I went vegan basically. What I saw was a mother cow inside of a slaughterhouse being killed, and it ripped my heart out. Like I've never stopped thinking about her for 4 years. And I didn't realize she was in there because of the dairy industry. So I don't know if you know, but the process of the and they're taking the children and killing them happens around 5 times in their life.
Okay.
And then at the end of like the 5 years, they usually can no longer produce children or produce as much milk anymore. They get taken to a slaughterhouse and killed. I've stood outside slaughterhouses I go every week, and I hear the mother cows and their babies like crying on the inside. It makes me emotional, like just now. And they're from local free range. Like I've seen one cow turn up in a local free range truck. I've seen factory farm trucks going to the same place, and it's just horrible. And I often say to people, like, there's no right way to do the wrong thing, even if the farmer is trying to do like better ways or really look after them. The fact that they're like exploiting them and making money off them, there's always going to be abuse and use in that.
How do you respond to other animals eating each other in the wild?
Good question. So
I guess you can make the argument that they are.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta love them. Gotta love them, Kane. Yeah. I used to, Tess. I used to drink it thinking like it was gonna be like good for my athleticism. Imagine that. It was not.
Lower consciousness, so it's okay, but then you'd be contradicting yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So say like you talk about like a lion in survival. So the key word is survival. They don't have like Tesco's or other options, so they're doing everything they can to survive. I don't like obviously what they're doing to the other animals. I feel sorry for them. Like my heart hurts. I can't watch David Attenborough's like thing when I see a lion chasing an antelope. I'm like no, and then I feel sorry for the lion if the lion doesn't eat. And but I don't base my morals on what lions do in the wild, because we have a moral agency and we can choose.
You don't? You don't base your morals on what lions do, Mel? It's like insanely reasonable.
And that's the key point. Like every day you got to eat and you got to do things, and like when you buy a coat and stuff, just double check it's vegan, and then you're not paying for animals to be harmed for you. And I think that's a really powerful position that we can take.
Yes.
A lot of these people here have never seen what you've seen
you
today.
You guys on the landscape mode one, you're missing the trolls. We got some crusty trolls going right now. They think they're clever, but all they're doing is helping my algorithm. So thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Glad to give you something to do with your day.
And they might say the same things like, oh, I go to this farmer who I trust, and I totally get what they're saying because I was that person. But when you actually look into it, there's no right way to do this. But really good question though. Have you got any other questions for me?
No, it's been thought-provoking. Yeah.
You seem like a really nice guy, and I really appreciate.
Book recommendation for you guys. Too Many Trolls by Mitzi Kafka. Kafka! Did you know Kafka stopped eating animals? There's like this famous quote from Franz Kafka that he looked at the fish and he said something like, now that I don't eat you, I can look at you without guilt, or something like that.
That you're not pushing back with like silly things. Like a lot of people sometimes get.
Interesting how a lot of the great thinkers in our society have been vegan/vegetarian. Back in the day, you know, they didn't really have the word vegan. So they were ethically vegetarian. They didn't, you know, have that.
angry, or they start saying like trees can feel pain and stuff, and like they don't care. But you actually seem really reasonable, and I really enjoyed the conversation with you.
Thank you.
After
You're a decent fella.
just know that you are now in a powerful position. You have a choice to either go this way and continue with what you've always done and never think about it again.
Yeah.
But animals will be going to slaughterhouse for you, and this time you'll know that they're going in there for you. Or you can choose this side where you don't pay for it anymore, and you actually stand up for the animals and tell people like, hey, you might not know, but like by buying cow's milk and eggs and stuff, you're paying for this, and you probably have never realized. And that's just why we are here today, just to educate people who just don't know, like us beforehand.
Thank you. Okay.
Watch something on there called The Greatest Speech You'll Ever Hear.
I can't remember his name. It's quite a memorable name. Yurovsky. Okay.
The most important speech you'll ever hear.
Okay.
That will answer a lot of things. Once you know like why to go vegan, then you can figure out your how and stuff. Like you can start like literally from this moment, be like, cool, my next meal can be jack potato, or Greg's vegan sausage roll, or oat milk latte. Like it's easy for you to just like choose the other option. But it's a real powerful knock-on effect that by you choosing another option, someone else hasn't screamed in the slaughterhouse for you directly.
Of course, yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Ben. Have a great day. Oh, did you get your prize?
Oh, I did.
That guy was cool. Yeah. Thought that was pretty decent. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So Kenneth over on mobile just said the difference between a meat eater and a meat eater doesn't have time to tell you what your diet should be. He's too busy grilling for his wife, kids, and friends. But apparently the meat eater does have time to be on YouTube on a vegan live stream because they're so fucking butthurt by a vegan on YouTube that they just can't stay away. They have to be where we are. They have to be doing what we're doing because that's what's interesting to them, not what's going on in their life. So I'm glad to give you something to do, Kenneth. But I'm glad you were able to take time away from your wife and kids and friends that I'm sure you have so many of, right? So many. Yeah. All right. Guys, 40-year-old vegan put out a little spoof. And you know what? 40's been killing it lately. So let's check them out. I got that glitch going. Now I got the glitch. That's not good. That's going to affect my ability to respond to the trolls because now I have to bring up like both live streams. Dude. It's going to be tough. Hang on, let me, now there's Jason's comment. 2 kids and 2 grandkids, all meat eaters. You're welcome for your kind words. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you. Thank you for the views. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, Kenneth, because I know you don't have much going on. So you're going to want to see when I'm streaming, right? So the way you can do that is you got to hit that bell notification so that you get a notification every time a vegan is streaming. 2 kids and 2 grandkids is Kenneth's flex, guys. Yeah.
It looks crispy. Like I like what you did. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to town on this guy. Yeah.
I'm very proud of how
Yeah. I want to see this guy.
It's like Kenneth.
Hey, Merry Christmas!
Yay!
Sweetheart, I brought my boyfriend Jeffrey.
Hey,
Jeffrey,
Jeff.
welcome.
Come on.
Thank
Hi,
you for
everyone.
joining us.
Well,
thank you. The
Grab
pleasure
a
is
seat.
mine.
What'd you bring? Grab a seat.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's
yes.
that?
So I brought
please.
some a quinoa salad with some tabbouleh.
What?
Yeah, we're not eating.
Oh, you got it. It's delicious. Oh, I love the mashed potatoes that you have.
Are you a vegan or something?
Yeah, actually, maybe it's been about 5 or so years.
Bro,
How do you do it, man?
How do you get your fucking protein, man?
You look skinny.
Kenneth, that's
Do you
Kenneth.
get enough protein?
That's fucking
You know
Kenneth.
about protein, right?
I get plenty of protein. It's not a concern at all. I get to the gym 4 days a
There's
week.
protein.
Yeah, no, there's no protein yet.
Bro,
Zero.
have you been like seriously? You have. There's no way.
Yeah, he gets laid. It's very important that you get sufficient B12.
We have canine teats. You've been to school?
Like lions eat gazelles, right?
Do your parents know?
You have these little soft, very dull teeth.
Plants feel pain too. Man. You're gonna get man.
And feel
man.
pain.
You do look. I think you look weak.
Like vegans go pale, man.
All right, guys, this is enough. All right, I'm perfectly healthy. I don't have man boobs. Your teeth are not carnivorous canines like a lion's. They're dull like paper. They're absolutely nothing in comparison to a lion, and that does not justify any of your actions.
I'm vegan because I care about animals. I see this not as food, but as an individual, a someone.
It looks crispy. Like I like what you did. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to town on this guy. Yeah, yeah.
I'm very proud about how
Yeah.
All
I
right.
want to see this guy.
All right. Time for some animal rights history because we got to educate, right? We got to learn. We got to learn. All right. I'm going to try to post this now with this freaking glitch thing going on. There we go. Is it posting? You guys let me know. My shit got all glitched up. There it goes. There it goes. All right. Here we go. All right. What do we think would be good for the trolls? Wonder what they want to learn about. Got a lot of choices here, a lot of choices. Let's do animal passions. All right. Hang on. Okay, wait. First of all, trigger warning. Documentary exploring the issue of vivisection, including the use of stolen pets and the testing of cigarettes on animals, includes interviews with the RSPCA, British Union for the Abolition of Vivisection, Scottish Anti-Vivisection Society, and Ronnie Lee. Includes the Animal Liberation Front's Operation Valentine raid on life science research, protests against Club Row Market, the Northeast Animal Liberation League's campaign against Bambridge Institute, and a rather rowdy demonstration at HLS, Huntington Life Sciences. Oh, this should be good. This should be a good one. Pay attention now, trolls. It's time to learn. Class is in session, and you will be quizzed at the end. Start writing. Take notes. Copious notes. Okay? Copious notes.
The reason that animal experimentation is an issue which bothers a lot of people is not simply that animals are killed, but that they do suffer in laboratories.
I think the fundamental reason why animals shouldn't be used in research is because we know full well that although they may not be able to reason, we know they can feel. They can feel.
Oh, they can reason. What the hell are you talking about? This must be dated. This is dated.
We would like to see legislation which totally protected animals from vivisection. We would like to see a situation where there were no experiments on animals.
They're rather like people who used to say the earth is flat and they can call
Can y'all hear
following
okay?
on this, but
Sounds a little muffled. Let me know.
it's quite clear that if medicine is going to advance, this type of work has got to continue in a controlled and humane way. If the community doesn't want any advances in medicine and surgery, then all experiments should be stopped.
Hello. Health and safety, the acceptable face of medicine today. We take it for granted that vaccines are effective and safe.
Vaccines?
The benefits of modern medicine and surgery have transformed the prospects of life. Few will want it otherwise, but the argument is not about ends, but means. For our confidence in the surgeon's skill and the drugs he uses depend upon research and testing on animals. The same is true of almost everything we use around the home. Washing up liquid in the kitchen sink, spray-on oven cleaner, furniture polish in the dining room. Whatever we touch, we expect absolute safety. The price of our sense of security is experiments on animals. 4.5 million of them a year, 90,000 a week. Almost 2/3 of these are safety and screening tests, everything from pharmaceutical and household products to farm and garden sprays. The remaining third are used in medical, scientific, and agricultural research. The most widely used species are mice, almost 3 million of them a year at the last count. With a further 1 million rats, the rodent contribution to animal experiments is 86% of the total.
Can't even check on
But
it.
it's the 11,000 dogs and 7,000 cats that attract most public concern.
Let me,
By contrast, the RSPCA destroy over 100,000 unwanted domestic pets each year. But experiments on animals provoke special emotions. To deal with them, there is special legislation. If there wasn't, scientists would risk prosecution. As it is, they are protected by the 1876 Cruelty to Animals Act. This authorizes the Home Office to license individuals to use animals which, for medical, physiological, or other scientific purposes, are subjected when alive to experiments calculated to inflict pain. Attached to every license is the condition that if an animal at any time during an experiment suffers severe pain, which is likely to endure, that animal must be painlessly killed.
I think the act is a farce.
Angela Walder is a leading campaigner against vivisection.
The only thing within the 1876 Act which should protect animals is the pain condition. And the pain condition is not in fact law. It is an administrative process attached to the licensing of research workers. So in fact in this country you can subject animals to severe and enduring pain for as long as you like. And there is no recourse in law.
Your pet could finish up in a vivisection laboratory from this street market. When you say you care about animals, can you say you feel sorry for these animals?
Sunday morning in London's Club Row, a regular gathering place for the anti-vivisection lobby.
Then it costs no folks to give your money to the traders in this street market, please.
Their target is a small pet market which they claim deals largely in stolen pets destined for research.
Stolen pets. That's
Such allegations are commonplace, but hard evidence is scarce. The demonstrators are usually drawn from 4 separate groups: the RSPCA, Animal Aid, the National Anti-Vivisection Society, and the militant British Union for the Abolition of Vivisection.
The militant
I now believe that the British Union for Abolition for Vivisection will go out very much more to support the activists within the movement. They've tried for 100 years to get reform by political means and by using the political, hopefully democratic process, and it obviously doesn't work.
And that's a conclusion already reached by the underground Animal Liberation Front. They've resorted to daubing the homes and property of those involved in animal experiments and breaking into laboratories to liberate animals in open defiance of the law.
The first time I was put in jail was in 1975. and that was for causing about £60,000 worth of damage to vivisection laboratories, places where animals were bred for vivisection, and other places where cruelty to animals took place. If during the war people had broken into concentration camps and damaged equipment and released the prisoners, that would have been against the law of Nazi Germany. As far as painting, graffiti, painting slogans on the homes of vivisectors, I think that's totally okay, because it does reveal to that person's neighbours what he's involved in. I think that's very important.
The activities of the Animal Liberation Front may have caught the sympathy of certain Fleet Street tabloids. Note, the beagle was rescued rather than stolen. But they've also made the research establishment nervous and defensive. Where permission to film was granted, it was usually conditional. No identification of the company or location. No interviews.
What's up, Jake?
No faces.
Brett.
All for fear of attracting the attention of the ALF. It was left to industry spokesmen to do the talking.
Certainly there is fear because...
Dr. Eric Snell represents Britain's huge pharmaceutical industry.
They've managed very skillfully to ignore the benefits of medical experimentation in their propaganda and the fact that it's largely carried out on rodents, and to emphasize instead on a very misleading, exaggerated and lurid campaign of advertising that is portraying quite the wrong picture of the majority of this type of animal experimentation.
People don't want to be identified if they're working in laboratories.
Lord Perry...
Yeah, I wonder why. Well, if I was proud of my job, I'd want to be identified.
That's the case for the scientists.
But there are a small group of extremists who have been indulging in, frankly, criminal activities. There have been attacks on laboratories, and worse than that, attacks on people's private property and threats to their wives and children. And no wonder they are reluctant to be exposed to that sort of thing.
Yeah, I wonder...
I certainly wouldn't call them...
I wonder if the animals like being exposed to the kinds of things that they're doing to the animals. And I wonder if it's maybe even worse than like having some spray paint on their property, which they have none, because they're in a little tiny cage, taken out only when they're being tortured.
Yeah. Animal lovers, no.
David Walker speaks for Britain's 6 contract research laboratories.
We deplore the violence, the theft, and the criminal acts
of the vivisectors?
The anti-vivisection lobby, particularly.
The peaceful activists. Got it. Yeah.
The ALF.
Right.
The attack we sustained, the theft that we incurred, was during the night. But recently, life science research, this was a daylight attack and theft of beagles with considerable damage to microscopes and other equipment.
Oh, you mean you couldn't torture those beagles any longer? What a shame. I'm sure everybody would agree with you. Maybe you should, publicize what it is you do to those beagles. Because I'm sure the public would want to know, right? Especially since it's all so above board. And it's not like anybody would be horrified to know that beagles are being tortured in laboratories, right? It's not like they'd be shocked or anything.
Broad daylight.
Is that why you fight so hard to keep that hidden, I wonder?
The break-in at Life Science in Essex one quiet Sunday afternoon was a typical ALF operation. Ignoring the lone security guard at the main gates, the raiders burst through the rear entrance. Armed with iron bars and wire cutters, they headed for the nearest laboratory building. Files were taken, microscopes and other equipment were wrecked. A van parked outside was also badly damaged. As the police arrived, the raiders fled, taking 5 beagles with them. It was all over in minutes.
Monsters! Taking beagles to safety. Oh, God. What absolute monsters.
This is a similar contract research laboratory where we were invited inside to film. Our arrival coincided with the intake of a number of 4-month-old beagles from a specialist supplier. All the dogs used in these cases are purpose-bred.
Purpose-bred.
It's important to know their history and that they're disease-free.
Just like, you know what?
These dogs were to be used for what's called a short-term toxicity trial.
I just want to point out that they said they invited them to come see this, and this is what they were proud to show. They didn't bother cleaning that up.
Were to be used for what's called a short-term toxicity trial.
Dude. Look at
After
this.
14 days of
Look at this fucking
acclimatization,
cell.
they would be dosed with the test substance for a further 2 weeks. Then they would be killed and their body tissues examined for harmful effects.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what they wanted people to see. I mean, yeah. So for the dumbasses in my chat, of which there are some, can you now imagine what they don't want you to see?
For this sort of work, because their short hair makes them easy to handle and keep clean.
Y'all know who you are.
They have a friendly nature and react well to confinement. These specially bred dogs are expensive. They cost
I think the trolls left once they saw, oh, we're gonna react to some historical stuff about vivisection. They bolted because it was more convenient to talk about the vegan activists. Now they have to actually witness beagles being tortured, so they're out.
Laboratories up to 300 pounds each.
Funny how that works. Sorry, Kane. Sorry.
Unlike beagles, almost none of the 5,000 primates
they're
used in
gone.
Britain are purpose-bred. Over 80% of them are caught in the wild, like these baboons from East Africa. They're still quite common. The demands for research worldwide have threatened the survival of some other species.
Trigger.
It's become a controversial trade.
Again, this is what they invited them
Take
to see.
primates from the wild. There is a lot of
I don't know. I was talking. Maybe that was different footage.
suffering involved simply in the catching. Then in the transportation, you do in fact lose a lot of primates on the way. They die of shock, disease. In some instances, for example, where you're taking chimps, the practice of the natives who catch them is to kill the mother to get the baby, because female adult chimps with babies would not be handleable. So they take the babies and kill the mother.
According to the Primate Protection League, for every 10 primates trapped in the wild, only 4 make it to the research laboratory.
Yeah,
Most primates are social animals, and they live in troops in the wild. If you house them in individual cages, as they are housed in laboratories, before you've even done a procedure, the animal is suffering. It's suffering anxiety, fear, distress, loneliness, misery. And I've seen these primates in cages, and I find it very disturbing indeed to see them under these conditions.
These baboons were being dosed with a range of 5 concentrations of a new heart drug undergoing tests for a client. The highest concentration, the red label, must by regulation be strong enough to cause harmful effects to the animal.
How nice.
The daily dosing will last from 2 to 4 weeks.
How lovely we are. Fucking monsters, dude. Fucking monsters. You notice how all the trolls up and bolted, right? They were here and then they're like, there's a limit on how much they can defend, I think.
This sort of test, called a subacute toxicity trial, is compulsory for all new medicines and drugs destined for the commercial market. Again, by law, these products must be tested on at least 2 different species, one of which must be a non-rodent. With drugs intended for use in man, that non-rodent is usually a primate.
One never knows exactly what the likely human toxicity of a chemical is going to be until it's used in man. These animal tests are only a guide, and each animal may react differently. Some like man, some not.
Yeah, no shit.
So a range of animals
So it's
is
fucking
necessary.
useless. It has no purpose. It may be like humans. It may not be like humans. I don't know. Let's just do that anyway for no fucking purpose.
To get the best information of the likely human response. And of course, you spoke of monkeys, that is closer to the animal species, and for some chemicals more likely to mimic man in its response to them.
But you'll then need to test it on humans, right? Because who knows?
Animals are not people. They respond differently. For example, in the testing of drugs, their metabolism is different, their excretion is different, and the results we obtain are really quite invalid. So the animals are not...
It's just so mind-blowing how wearing a suit makes people feel so smart. Like, they'll say the dumbest shit wearing suits. But if you wear that suit and you speak in that British accent, it's like people will just take you at your word.
only suffering, they're suffering in vain.
The design of the primate cages has one special feature. The back can be cranked forward to restrain the animal at the front. This is used at the end of the test period when the baboons are, in laboratory terminology, sacrificed.
Sacrificed. So no.
The vital organs are removed and prepared for post-mortem examination. Meticulous records are kept throughout the test in the client's file.
Oh, I'm sure.
What the microscope later reveals could be the make or break of a drug that's taken perhaps 10 years and 50 million pounds to develop. It's a game...
10 years, 50 million pounds to get to animal tests. Yeah, you know who might have taken the drug? Depending on like what it is. The person lying on the deathbed might have wanted that drug. I mean, I don't know what they're testing right now, but
only the giant multinationals can afford to play. Companies like Bayer, for instance. Their trademark towers over their hometown of Leverkusen on the banks of the Rhine. Bayer's fortunes were secured 80 years ago with the discovery of aspirin. Ironically, if it were submitted to today's stringent tests, it would probably fail. Bayer now turn out over 500 different products.
Nilf? You just gonna leave me? You gonna leave me, Nilf? After I sung to you like Marilyn Monroe? No. Sometimes I don't feel appreciated, guys. I poured my heart into that song. I went back to a Tomb Raider level where Lara was dressed in a slinky black dress. Not enough for Nilf. Nilf always needs more. Nilf. But, you know, Nilf knows the power imbalance. He knows I'm making all these gestures. He knows he's in the powerful position. I keep on trying. I got to stop giving Nilf what he wants, guys. I need to change the power differential a little bit. You know what, Nilf? You go. I'm not even going to think about it. Whatever.
The competition to satisfy new markets is intense, but the legal consequences of letting just one drug slip through the safety net are enormous. The minimum animal testing program for all EEC countries is laid down in the rules governing medicaments in the European community. Most successful drugs, though, are marketed worldwide, and other countries, notably the United States and Japan, have different test standards.
Regulations are different in different countries. They're different for different products. They're different for different purposes. For example, if you're exporting or importing or transporting, you have to fulfill various sets of regulations, and they're all different.
Nilf, I even root for the Bills on your behalf. I root for the Bills for you. I said I wouldn't keep thinking about it, but I'm still thinking about it.
If these regulations were standardized, there would be a lot less repetition and duplication, and therefore you would reduce suffering immediately simply by doing that. But I think also they need to be modified because in many instances they are not the most rational tests which are prescribed by the bureaucrats. For example, with the LD50 test, which is a very crude test using death as its endpoint, in many instances all the scientist needs to know is an approximate measure. He really wants to simply grade the chemical, whether it's very toxic, whether it's not too toxic, or whether it's...
But you know, Spooky, we can all agree that they accomplished a lot, you know. You know, one of the things about the trolls is like, at least I know when they're like streaming me that they're not causing other problems at that moment, at least. It's kind of like we're like keeping tabs on them, at least. Because they could be doing something really destructive, but at least they're streaming me, helping me with the algorithm, commenting.
Not toxic at all. You don't need a precise LD50 figure for that.
LD50 stands for lethal dose 50%, and it's an estimate of the size of dose that would kill half the animals in a group. An LD50 figure is used as a guide to the acute toxicity of a substance. In other words, how much of it would have to be taken to be fatal.
It's so stupid.
It is demanded for most new products,
so stupid.
Either for human use, like medicines and cosmetics, or products open to accidental misuse.
Let's see what kills half of the beings we give this to.
Like herbicides and cleaning materials.
Like that's a good gauge.
These rats are being used for an LD50 test on a sample of the insecticide malathion.
Sorry guys, I should admit, like this is a lot of animal abuse on this video. Many animals were harmed in the making of this video.
The rats are dosed with a range of concentrations, the size of dose being related to body weight.
Well, I'm going to game later.
Only 2 rats per group are being used.
I know some of y'all.
But often as many as 10 animals per group may be required.
How lovely we are as a species.
After an hour, some of the rats begin to show symptoms of distress, shivering, paralysis, and weeping from the eyes.
Cool. How nice.
After 2 hours, those dosed with the highest concentrations are dead. Those in the second group are close to death. Others too may die before the end of the test period, which is usually at least a week. The survivor's fortune is short-lived. All animals in
just pathetic.
LD50 tests are killed and undergo post-mortem. This controversial test, which besides dosing can also include inhalation and
pathetic bullying behavior is what this is.
Skin tests, and clearly involves suffering, has itself been questioned by scientists.
If we take the highly criticized LD50 assay, for instance, although this at the present time is required by statute in most countries.
What up, hummus? What up, freedom fighter? Sorry, I know. Sorry.
And I think
freedom
most of my
fighter.
colleagues in contract research are not very much in favour with this particular test.
You like that test?
It can use quite a large number of animals, and the information received from this is...
If we need a little, like, Were y'all here? Some of y'all were here when I read this. I read the book. I mean, I just want, if y'all didn't see when I read this book, it's on my channel. I made it an individual video, but I thought there was a funny part in this book where there's like a plane crash. I was just like, what? Yeah. Okay. Just so y'all know, I'm not making it up. It's there, right? You can kind of see it. Okay. Okay, listen. Then the doorbell rang. Ding dong, ding dong. It was an airplane pilot. May I use your phone? He asked. My plane just crashed, and I've got to call a taxi for these 10 passengers. Well, all right, Hannah said, but shh, baby is sleeping. I mean, listen, Mitzi Kafka, Mitzi, I appreciate this book, but that was a weird turn. That was unexpected. Have y'all ever seen Black Books, the British show Black Books? If you have not, do yourself a favor and watch Black Books. It is one of the funniest shows ever made. They did, I think, 2 seasons, maybe 3. And there's an episode where the characters who run this like little bookshop called Black Books decide they're going to write a children's novel. And I'll just spoil a little bit. It's okay to spoil this, but like the character ends up writing like a book like this thick. And they're like, you know, maybe that part about the spy who was having an affair with the so-and-so while trying to escape the gulag, or, you know, just like this crazy like story about the Soviets. And they're like, maybe we could make it about an elephant. And he's like, an elephant? You're like, yeah, maybe an elephant who lost their balloon. I guess the point that I'm making, guys, is that anybody could write a fucking children's book and sell it to millions of people. I don't know why we're not doing that. Why are we not writing children's books? Because apparently you can write a book called Too Many Trolls, and it's just people showing up at the house. Suddenly a golf ball came flying in. Suddenly there's a bunch of cheerleaders. Suddenly there's a baseball team. Suddenly there's an airline pilot who crashed his plane and needs to call a taxi, because that's what you do when you crash your plane. You just need a taxi. Maybe I'm a too harsh a critic. But anyway, let's get back to, I thought y'all could use a little break from this kind of hard-hitting video.
Is not so valuable as a more in-depth investigation on a smaller number.
Black Books, guys. Watch that. I don't know where
Caught in the middle of the argument over animal testing is the veterinary profession.
Oh, the same people who made Black Books made IT Crowd, which is also an equally funny-ass British show. If you haven't seen either of those shows, I just changed your life. You will have endless entertainment. Well, not endless, because they only did like 3 seasons or so of these shows. But you'll have a good amount of entertainment, and it's the best. IT Crowd and Black Books.
They too are very unhappy about the LD50 test.
The LD50 test sometimes has to be taken to almost ridiculous extremes. I think it's probably reasonable to say if any substance administered in 100 times dose doesn't hurt anybody or hurt any animal, there's no need to go into 1,000 times or 10,000 times the dose. A lot of the testing is demanded by vociferous lobbies. There's one lobby wants no animals used, there's another lobby wants absolute safety, and the safety lobby wants animal testing. The two are irreconcilable.
The LD50 test, although highly contentious, is justified by the demands of the law. The same cannot be said of smoking tests. Despite a government health warning on every packet, high cigarette consumption continues. and research into its ill effects goes on. Since the outcry over the smoking beagles, tests like these are now confined to rats. They're called nose-only inhalation tests.
Because we don't know yet whether cigarettes are bad for you. We got to torture rats. People are fucking stupid. That's the takeaway. We're just stupid. Look, you're doing that shit. It's costing a lot of money. You got those. They built this machine for this purpose. Someone out there capable enough to build machines built a rat torture device that perfectly holds cigarettes, and oh my god, what a waste of our capacity. I've never seen this footage, by the way. This is new for me.
The rats spend an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon for up to 4 weeks, monitoring the middle tower strength.
Dude, like, and I'm sorry.
The middle tower.
Look how uncomfortable that would be without the cigarette smoke. Like how torturous that would be.
Strength. Meanwhile, the machine puffs 70 cigarettes an hour.
Dude, like, yeah.
The latest figures show that 41,000 animals a year are used in forced inhalation tests like these. Most of them are on industrial gases and dusts, but nearly 2,000 were on tobacco.
I would defend research on smoking materials by stating that there is, certainly with cigarette smoke, an enormous danger. It is probably the single biggest.
You know that already. So why do you need further confirmation of that? You fucking idiot in a suit. You fucking empty goddamn suit. You just said they're dangerous. So you already know they're dangerous, meaning you don't need to torture rats with cigarettes. You fucking fuck. You fucking fuck. You God fucking damn. Sorry, let me catch up on the chat. Yeah. No more trolls. They're all gone. In fact, almost everybody's gone because nobody wants to see this shit. I recognize that. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine. We'll play Tomb Raider later. All right, guys? Tomb Raider later. And I will have to look up how to beat that boss because I do not like the boss battles in Tomb Raider. It's so annoying. I love Tomb Raider. I hate the boss battles.
Killer.
Just a little window into my stressful life.
In the world nowadays. And while this is the situation, and while people smoke, I think that we are morally obliged to investigate it. And if this...
I think we are morally obliged to investigate it. I don't know. I'm trying to accents.
And it does require the use of animals, yes.
Dude, you know.
No reason why it shouldn't continue.
Why would it continue when you already know? You idiot. You know already.
Materials.
Listen.
I would
listen to what he said.
Research on smoking materials by stating that there is, certainly with cigarette smoke, an enormous danger. It is probably the single biggest killer in the world.
The single biggest killer in the world. So let's just study that. Do you know? Like, God. It's like, it'd be one thing if like we were back in time where they're like, we're not sure, it would still be shitty, but it'd be like slightly more understandable. But this guy just stated out front. They know. The research has been done on the population of humans who smoke and die.
I think there's no reason about people's health. I don't think testing them on animals is actually going to safeguard people's health. I think there is sufficient evidence now to show that cigarettes are toxic to man.
Thank you. Thank you.
That cigarettes
Look, he put on a suit and it didn't make his brain go mush. He still talked some sense. I don't know why he was able to do it.
There's sufficient evidence now to show that cigarettes are toxic to man.
Now we got bunnies. Nobody's
it would be wrong to assume that all experiments require the animals to be killed.
What are you doing to
These
that
rabbits,
bunny?
for instance, can live for several years, and according to laboratory staff, suffer little more than a loss of dignity.
The fuck are you?
They are being used in one of the commonest procedures, the Paragen test. Quite simply, this is a test to detect unwanted toxins called paragens, which, if present, will cause a rise in body temperature.
Dude, you freaks. You just stuck that thing up that bunny's ass.
Each rabbit is equipped with a rectal temperature probe and put into a restraining yoke.
Dude, what? No. You know what? This is like some of the most footage that I've seen on these tests.
They're then injected in the air with the test substance. Any paragen impurity will register as a rise in body temperature. The rabbits may sit there for several hours, and they can undergo this test as often as once a week.
Just torturing bunnies. You would think like that these torturous industries would have at least figured out that maybe in terms of like public support, we shouldn't torture the most adorable animals on the planet. Beagles and rats and bunnies. But no.
Each rabbit will be recorded under the 1876 Act as an experiment performed without anesthetic. 80% of the 4.5 million experiments carried out each year in vivisection laboratories use no anesthetic, but few are as benign as the Paragen test. The only people with the right of unimpeded access to these places are the Home Office Inspectorate.
Man.
There are just 15 inspectors to cover the whole of Britain. 8 of them are vets, 7 are doctors. With 550 registered places and 21,000 licensees to inspect, their role is more administrator than policeman.
There's going to come a time when you're going to have to replace some of these racks, you know.
Yes, we're looking into
Think of the budget next year.
Frequency of visits can range from once a month to once a year, all of them supposedly random and unannounced.
To get an idea of how random it is, you simply have to see me perhaps at Euston Station in the morning saying, well, I wonder where I should go this morning. And they don't know I'm coming until I arrive. And we do find that our arrival and the name Home Office Inspector does strike a little awe in people's minds, and it does make them look at their consciences and see if they need dusting. And we aim to keep it that way. Yeah, they're pretty happy, I think. I'd just like to have a look at this lot.
Yes, certainly.
The rats in this room had been injected in the feet as part of an experiment. One of the duties of an inspector is to assess whether such a procedure falls within the pain condition of the license.
We are dealing with an Act of Parliament which permits some pain. The question is how much, and bearing in mind that we have no actual units of measurement. However, if you see an animal and you get to know the signs, you have some idea of pain and discomfort, and gradually you build a sort of mental scale in your mind. I find it helpful actually to repeat the words of the condition on the licenses when I'm looking at these. Now, is that or is that not likely to endure? These kind of things come as a sort of balance, and one comes to a conclusion and one hopes it's the right one. But nevertheless, the one executive power we have is to stop an experiment immediately.
Do it then. Stop that.
But in the last 106 years, since the Cruelty to Animals Act was introduced, there has only been one successful prosecution, and that was almost 70 years ago.
I think the answer is that we practice what we would call preventive medicine. In other words, we feel that if we're doing our job correctly, things should never get to the stage of having to require prosecution. It should all be done way before that.
Yeah. Well,
but critics point out that 10 of the 15 Home Office inspectors have previously held vivisection licenses. They claim their impartiality is open to doubt.
I think the fact that they have worked as experimenters, the fact that they work alongside experimenters, cannot be held to be a weakness in the system. It seems to me to be a strength in the system.
Oh, does it? Oh, does it?
It
It doesn't seem like maybe that might be a conflict of interest.
To make sure that the law is properly carried out. They're dedicated people.
Another empty suit here.
And the basis of their whole position is to try to avoid cruelty to animals.
Sure,
but,
that's it.
I don't think it really is a powerful argument to say you shouldn't have people who know what they're talking about.
End of part 1. What a way to leave off, huh? What a cliffhanger.
Something old.
What's this? Can we get the ads?
My effigy's been burnt a number
Those old sound effects.
of times, and I've had phone calls, you know.
You had some phone calls?
Small hours of the night.
Oh.
Abusive phone calls and a great deal of intemperate language in letters. Letters.
Oh dear.
Dr. Barry Cross.
Yeah, you're a victim, aren't you? Yeah.
Director of the Institute of Animal Physiology at Babram, near Cambridge.
But let's all have a moment of silence for that guy who had some phone calls, some letters. If only these guys could see like the kinds of comments that we get all the time on our social medias, on our YouTubes. I'm going to make a video, guys. Hang on.
The privacy a number of times.
All right. You guys are seeing it here first.
And I've had...
I'm going to wear a suit. I'm going to put on a suit. I'm going to say...
phone calls, you know.
Phone calls and...
in the small hours of the night.
Small hours of the night. Checked my Facebook and my YouTube, and he said, where do you get your protein? And I say, you look like you're sick, you know, you're pale. I didn't want to do this in front of you guys. I didn't want to. I don't want you guys to see me like this. All right, we're just gonna.
Phone calls and a great deal of intemperate language in letters.
Intemperate.
Dr. Barry Cross, Director of the Institute of Animal Physiology at Babram, near Cambridge. The privacy of this peaceful country house,
Kane feels my pain.
with sheep grazing in the park,
Thank you, Kane.
was shattered 3 years ago by a hostile campaign in the press. Banner headlines proclaimed Babram Hall as Frankenstein's farm. Allegations were made of grotesque experiments. The Animal Liberation Front broke in and snatched some pictures. Fleet Street's demands for access were only partially met.
Pictures, you say?
Now, some basic questions can be answered.
This is a research institute, and its sole function is to advance knowledge related to animals, domestic animals primarily, so as to increase the production of food for the British population.
In pursuit of those aims, a wide range of work is done at Babram. This is a simple behavior study on pigs who have been taught to feed themselves by pressing a button.
Oh, you learned that pigs are smart. Cool. You could have learned that from spending time with pigs where they're happy.
The dominant pig does all the work, while the other grabs what food it can before being heaved out of the way.
I mean, yeah.
More sophisticated.
It seems crazy to me. No. I'm sorry. I know what I'm saying seems crazy. That maybe the way to learn about animals is to spend time with the animals rather than taking them and putting them in a hostile, barren environment.
Studies use electrodes surgically implanted into the animal.
Okay.
This sheep has a small transmitter under the skin of its back, while an electrode on the horn completes the sensitive monitoring circuit.
Right. We're going to learn a lot from that. That's very important.
The animal's movements and heart rate in response to stress are recorded by a remote camera.
Oh. Well, it's a good thing we can record the stress and not just witness it right in front of our fucking eyes. Yeah. Okay. Fucking stupid again.
Information provided by behavioral studies like these lead, it's claimed, to better conditions for animals on the farm. Other routine work on sheep is done on digestion and makes use of the so-called rumen fistula.
This is a standard operation which has been used in agriculture for at least 50 years for studying digestive processes in ruminants. And it enables one to collect samples from the ingesta of the ruminant's stomach, which is totally different from the human.
It's totally different from a human.
Big fermentation vat where lots of chemical processes go on, mediated by bacteria and fungi and so on. So there's no way really of deciding what nutrients are getting into the bloodstream,
certainly,
except by actually plunging in and taking them out and analyzing them. If you like, I can remove the bun so that
he's smug.
First of all, with the operation provides
Aaron P.
no
What's that mean?
stress to the animal and enables one to collect samples from the large fermentation vat of the rumen.
Ew.
Quite simply.
The fuck?
Of course, the sheep is a little bit camera shy.
The sheep is probably a little uncomfortable right now. What's that even mean, Aaron P? What's up, Aaron P? Sent happy poop for 10 joules. I don't even know what that means. I think it's a new, gift thing or something. Thank you so much, Aaron P. I haven't learned all this stuff. You're more of an expert than me, Aaron P, on all this, what is it called? Membership stuff. By the way, guys, you can become a member of my channel. Did you know that? It's a new thing. It's a new thing that it gets you a couple of all right, I feel like I'm going to undersell this a little bit, but you can get emojis, special emojis, animal-based emojis. I'd like to say there was more to it than that, but I don't think there is. I don't know. There's you get to feel good knowing that you supported me. I'm doing well, Aaron P. 10 joules. Jason got sent thumbs up for 10 joules. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what a joule is. I mean, I know what a joule is, but in terms of this, I don't know what that means. But thank you guys. I think that's a very nice thing you just did. Especially happy poop. I mean, who doesn't want some happy poop, you know? And that's what you get, by the way, when you're vegan. Happy poop. It's very seldom that you have unhappy poop.
But otherwise, he's a very friendly sheep and great pet.
Look at this smug fuck.
Biochemistry laboratory where we are at the moment. Come on.
You just hang on a second.
Computer laboratory where we are at the moment.
He just you just got that shit on your fingers, did like that, and then immediately reached for their head. Like, just no respect. Here, let me now rub this all over your face.
The sheep also has catheters inserted into the blood vessels entering and leaving the liver. This allows blood samples to be easily extracted.
Dude, like, oh boy.
There is a prize-winning Jersey herd at Babram, and one of the cows illustrates another aspect of the Institute's work.
Well, this is Victoria. As you can see, a very fine specimen of a Jersey cow. And she's had a little plastic operation on the carotid artery, whereby it's enfolded in a layer of skin right round.
Right, that's right, Tess.
Means that the scientists can obtain samples of arterial blood very simply without disturbing the animal in any way.
What? Wait, say, I missed it. I'm sorry, guys. That is weird.
The herd at Babram, and one of the cows illustrates another aspect of the Institute's work.
Well, this is Victoria. As you can see, a very fine specimen of a Jersey cow. And she's had a little plastic operation on the carotid artery, whereby it's enfolded in a layer of skin right round it. And this means that the scientists can obtain samples of arterial blood very simply without disturbing the animal in any way. Victoria's also had another...
Leave that cow alone, please.
Exteriorized vessel on the mammary vein down here underneath, which enables blood samples to be taken painlessly to give evidence about the process of milk secretion. Victoria, as you can see, is heavy in calf and is expected to produce its calf in a very few days. Let's see that again.
Dude, you're nasty. That guy's weird.
The suffering that goes on in this institute...
That guy's like exceptionally weird.
...is very much less than that which goes on outside. I've had a vivisection license myself for over 30 years.
Every time I think I know all the things, I keep getting reminded that there's so much about this that I don't know.
And I'm quite satisfied that the standards of animal treatment and animal surgical skill...
Never saw the carotid artery thing.
Of animal treatment and animal care and surgical skill in this institute are higher, the highest I've ever encountered anywhere. So I am convinced that the level of inconvenience, I'd rather put it at that level, inconvenience rather than suffering, that animals are subjected to here is certainly no greater than that of animals on farms or even animals used for sport. Steve?
Yeah, and that ain't good. Inconvenience. Oh, it's just so inconvenient that they sawed away part of my neck and left skin around my carotid artery. What an inconvenience. Dude, that's messed up.
Chasing himself.
That is so weird. That is such a weird thing to do.
Perhaps the most controversial work carried out at the Institute is a transplant operation on goats. Although the licensee in charge of the experiment wouldn't permit filming for fear of repercussions, Dr. Cross was happy.
Fear of repercussions.
To explain what it was all about.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. It's an extremely bland operation. The mammary gland, of course,
would you like to have it done to you?
Skin gland.
Say
Bland operation. The mammary gland, of course, is a skin gland, and therefore it's really a skin graft. But for some reason that I don't think we fully understand, the public has a very...
You know, your balls are, you know, encased in skin. So maybe, you know, taking a skin graft from your balls might be something that you would say it's very bland operation. Your shaft. Just, yeah, it's just a skin graft.
The emotional reaction to anything that involves mammary glands. The essential thing about the operation is that one of the two mammary glands is carefully removed from the inguinal site and grafted to the carotid artery and jugular vein of the neck. Now, this operation may sound very terrifying, but within 2 days of the operation, the transplanted gland is giving perfectly normal yields of milk.
Dude, you're a monster. You are a monster. Just to recap what he just described, he said they remove the mammary gland from where it's supposed to be, move it up to the jugular or carotid artery, put it there, just to see if, oh, it'll start giving milk there. This is like a South Park episode. It's cartoonish. It's cartoonishly vile. What are you? Ah, man. I can't believe, like, he was willing to talk about this.
Now, any farmer will know that milk yield is the most sensitive index of stress. So if the operation was causing the animal any significant degree of stress, it would almost certainly mean that the milk yield would drop to nothing.
Dr. Cross emphasized that only with the gland in this position is it possible to monitor exactly what nutrients enter and leave it. He's convinced that this work has led to important new knowledge of the process of milk production and secretion.
I can't believe I've never heard of this before. This is this is something that we should talk about. I can't believe I've never heard this. I mean, I knew they did fucked up things, and there's a lot of fucked up things, but that is weird. That is really weird.
Other research to cause alarm in the press was work in genetics.
What to say?
The first successful crossing of a goat with a sheep. The innocent-looking result was Baby Sham, seen here with her goat mother and Barbary sheep father.
I mean, I don't believe in hell. And I don't even think you need to believe in hell to be certain that that guy's going to hell. I don't even think hell has to exist for him to be certainly going to hell. I think he's going to hell. I think he's probably already in hell right now. And it probably doesn't even exist. So that's quite an accomplishment. But, you know, when you do weird things like that to animals, you can pull off extraordinary feats like that.
But despite the controversy, Dr. Cross remains proud of his institute's achievements, which,
proud,
as he's keen to point out, reach beyond agriculture.
He's proud.
Recently, there's been quite a lot of media coverage of the test tube baby saga in the Steptoe Edwards Circus in Cambridge, and I'm sure that they would be the first to recognise that their work would not have been possible without animal research which was done in this institute.
Addenbrooke's Hospital, another Cambridge institution with an international reputation, this time for liver and kidney transplant.
Some aspects of surgery are entirely dependent on
3730.
And it's so.
His name is Cross. I thought it said Gross. It is Gross. I'm going to write this name down because that's worth looking into. Dr. Barry Cross. FRS. Director, Institute of Animal Physiology. All right. Okay. You are exceptionally vile.
With an international reputation, this time for liver and kidney transplant.
Some aspects of surgery are entirely dependent on the operation being perfected, first of all, in animals.
The pioneer of the work on transplants, Professor Roy Kahn, likes to emphasize medicine's debt to animal experiments.
On the epidemiological side,
right,
all vaccination,
imagine what he doesn't want to share.
Types of immunization really depends on animal experiments.
Yeah, that Barry Cross guy is the kind of guy who probably has like women down in his basement chained up. And yeah, I'd look into that guy if I were, I don't know how long ago. This seems quite old.
Another very good example is tuberculosis, which used to be a very major killer, and particularly again of young people in the United Kingdom. And this has been eliminated partly by the development of antibiotics, which had to be studied in animals, and also partly by the development of immunization, BCG, which again is something that is developed from animal experiments.
But Professor Kahn's outspoken defense of vivisection has also made him a target for personal abuse.
I've certainly been woken up in the middle of the night after being operating for several hours into the night and been woken up an hour later. And of course that is very unpleasant for me, but it also is not fair on the patient who's going to be operated on being the next morning.
So the abdomen has been prepared now with some iodine. I'm going to make a long incision, the whole length of the rat's belly, down through the skin.
Rats provide the basic model for much of the work at Addenbrooke's. Here, surgeons working with Professor Kahn are investigating new ways of treating diabetes. At present, most diabetics have to inject themselves twice a day with insulin. This research is seeking a permanent cure by transplanting the cells of the pancreas that produce the insulin, the so-called islets of Langerhans. The first stage of the operation involves the removal of the pancreas from a number of anesthetized rats, a delicate but rather bloody procedure.
It has a very rich blood supply, as you can see from the amount of bleeding I've produced. And then we put the pancreas again into an ice-cold solution.
Oh.
The end of
hang on. I have not been. I'm sorry, guys.
This has been eliminated
looking up Harry
partly by the development.
I think yeah. I think he passed away in 94. Could be wrong. I think it's this guy. Sir Barry Cross, physiologist, professor of anatomy, 1994. So it's like he was involved in zoos and stuff. It's like that's what they kind of talk about. Well, anyway, pretty sure that's him. All right. Sadistic guy. Hang on. I can't with this glitch, guys. Hey, Hummus 420. Did you just become a member? just become a member. If you did, congratulations and welcome to Jeremy Land. I'm sorry, welcome to Jeremy Ave. That's where you have just entered. Jeremy Avenue.
Development of antibiotics, which had to be studied.
It's a lot of fun
in
here on
animals,
Jeremy
and
Ave,
also
guys.
Partly by the development of immunization, BCG, which again
Aren't you having fun?
something that is developed from animal experiments.
Thank you, Hummus.
But Professor Khan's outspoken defense of vivisection has also made him a target for personal abuse.
I've certainly been woken up in the middle of the night after being operating for several hours into the night and been woken up.
Look at all those emojis that Hummus has.
But it also
you too.
Fair on the patient who's going to be operated on the next morning.
So the abdomen has been prepared now with some iodine. I'm going to make a long incision, a whole length of the.
Yeah, he died in 1914. Says
down through the skin.
Rats provide the basic model for much of the work at Addenbrooke's. Here, surgeons working with Professor Khan are investigating new ways of treating diabetes. At present, most diabetics have to inject themselves twice a day with insulin. This research is seeking a permanent cure by transplanting the cells of the pancreas that produce the insulin, the so-called islets of Langerhans. The first stage of the operation involves the removal of the pancreas from a number of anesthetized rats, a delicate but rather bloody procedure.
It has a very rich blood supply, as you can see from the amount of bleeding I've produced. And then we put the pancreas again into an ice-cold solution.
Oh, that's... of course you did. Of course you do. That's how you...
The end of this removal, I'm going to cut through the diaphragm into the chest.
Warning, guys, you may want to look away.
And sacrifice the animal by dividing the great vessels in the chest so that the animal doesn't recover from the anesthetic. We use a number of animals for each experiment. The reason behind all of this is that if you wish to do any studies of immunology, that is, of why any graft is rejected by another individual, you must do it on intact live animals. It's not the sort of research that you can do in a test tube because the responses of the animal are quite individual between different strains, and the techniques involved with organs and tissue grafts are such that the methodology cannot be worked out except in the living animal. For this reason, if we're to make any serious progress in transplantation of islets for diabetic patients, I think we need to do it in the laboratory with animals. It's not a problem that we're going to be able to solve in a test tube.
One of the things we have to talk about this morning is how far it is acceptable in moral and public opinion to use animals for painful experiments. Now, one of the ideas that...
Lord Houghton is chairman of the Committee for the Reform of Animal Experiments. It meets regularly to discuss reform of the 1876 Act, which the committee feels does little to control painful experiments.
But isn't it also true that
Their secretary is Clive Hollands.
Remember, when the 1876 Act came in, there were only some 350-odd experiments a year on animals. Now we're talking in terms of millions, up to 5 million a year. The situation is now a multi-million-pound business, quite apart from the research aspect of it, so that we need to have tighter controls. And certainly the most important issue is how much pain is legally permitted to be inflicted upon animals.
Our view, and I hope the British government view, is that there is a degree of pain which is totally and utterly unacceptable. If pain is severe, either by duration or by intensity, and cannot be relieved, then our view is that animal must be destroyed. Even if you completely spoil the experiment, the animal must come first.
Oh, sure.
Defining severe pain is one of the main difficulties in the whole debate on animal experimentation. In particular, how can human feelings of pain be related to laboratory animals?
If you take, for instance, an example of running around after an operation, a rat that's had an operation, say, on its abdomen, will be running around almost within minutes of recovering from the anesthetic, whereas a human being wouldn't. because the pain would be too much and he'd rather stay in bed.
I wonder how many people watch this and come away from it still in favor of animal testing.
Most scientists seem to agree that far too little is known about the nature of pain. Consequently, anti-vivisectionists feel that too much is left to the judgment of the licensee.
The scientist simply regards the animal as a legitimate tool for his purposes. But I think
they dissuade young, ambitious researcher/scientists, students from feeling for the animals. They actually dissuade them from having those feelings and say, that's not what we do here. And we don't worry about that. Yeah. You know, if people knew more about what their alma maters are doing, what the school that they attend is doing, like for instance, the University of Wisconsin, which is like one of the worst when it comes to research on animals historically. Harry Harlow was there, very infamous laboratory, and they got buildings named after him. Most of the students don't know that's going on. And if they did, they would probably have something to say about it. Now, and then the people who are in there doing the research are just dissuaded from having any feelings about it.
there is a sort of blinker which the scientist has. Sometimes I talk to people about suffering in their experiments, and I'm quite convinced that, you know, if you took anybody off the street and said, is this animal suffering? The person would say yes. Yep. But the scientists will often...
Oh, I was just going to make that point. It's like they're in this little bubble. They're in this bubble where they can't think about that because it would be distracting from their work. They couldn't do it.
Say, oh no, the animal isn't suffering. It's quite clear that it's not suffering. But it's not clear at all.
I feel...
But who could watch this and agree with that?
That there is a great danger in research, in the strangelove theory.
Mike Seymour Rouse is an animal welfare campaigner based in Brussels.
I, during the war, was in a concentration camp. Now, during the war, I learned quite a lot during the time I was...
Oh, Eurogroup for Animal Welfare. If you guys haven't seen my last published interview, it was with Dr. Richard Ryder, who coined the term speciesism. He set up Eurogroup for Animal Welfare, a group which isn't as widely known, but is probably responsible for getting something like 60 laws passed for animals. So a really effective group and a wing of the RSPCA. We talked a little bit about that, but check out that interview.
In that concentration camp, I was in Dachau for this period. I myself was experimented on by a German doctor called Feldgiebel. And Feldgiebel was later sentenced. But when he was asked in the trial why he continued with his experiments, he said, Neugierigkeit, which merely means in English, inquisitiveness. And that I honestly feel, to a lesser extent, persists today in some scientists, some, I'm not saying all, but some. Today.
Did he say that he was...
The animal at all?
I feel that there is a great danger in research, in the strangelove theory.
Mike Seymour Rouse is an animal welfare campaigner based in Brussels.
I, during the war, was in a concentration camp. Now, during the war, I learned quite a lot during the time I was in that concentration camp. I was in Dachau for this period.
He was in Dachau.
Myself was experimented on by a German doctor called Feldgiebel. And Feldgiebel was later sentenced. But when he was asked in the trial why he continued, I, during the war, was in a concentration camp.
Wow. Mike Seymour Rouse. Director, Eurogroup. That's crazy. That is wild.
Now, during the war, I learned quite a lot during the time I was in that concentration camp. I was in Dachau for this period. I myself was experimented on by a German doctor called Feldgiebel. And Feldgiebel was later censored. But when he was asked in the trial why he continued with his experiments, he said, Neugierigkeit, which merely means in English.
Test subjects.
And that I honestly feel to
Good recommendation, J.Ash. Yeah, they do. They do refuse tests.
a lesser extent, persists today in some scientists, some, I'm not saying all, but some.
One of the most effective lobbies against painful experiments has been aimed at the highly sensitive area of cosmetic testing. Beauty in Britain is a billion-pound business, dominated by big international companies. Most of them are based in America, and much of the testing takes place there. The latest figures here show 31,000 cosmetic tests, less than 1% of the total, but still enough to attract the critics.
Monies again.
It's the controversial
It's the
Dray's
Dray's
tests
test.
that generate public concern. There are two basic types.
Yep.
This rabbit is
This
being
I know.
prepared for a skin irritancy test. These animals have sensitive light skins, and when cosmetics are applied, will give indications of harmful effects. Most new products will prove quite safe, but some will register unpleasant reactions.
Yeah.
I think that unless we prevent new cosmetics coming on the market and simply say there won't be any more, but it's absolutely vital that you test them, because some of the people who get cosmetics applied, they're babies with tender skin. I wouldn't like to see new creams put onto babies' bottoms which were liable to produce dermatitis. I'd rather have them tested in animals.
Dude, you're such a fuck. You're such a fuck.
The other Dray's test is the eye irritancy test. Again, albino white rabbits are most often used. In this case, eye ointments are being tested, but other cosmetics and industrial products are also used in this way.
Just let's torture bunnies. Let's torture bunnies.
A sensitivity chart enables comparisons to be made at intervals during the test.
I mean,
cosmetic testing is an emotional issue, and for some it's impossible to...
Ricky Gervais had a nice, like, short clip posted from him talking about testing. He's like, just about how stupid this is. Oh, okay. Shampoo gets in your eyes, it stings. End of story, we know. Yeah, you don't need really a test for that. It's like...
come to terms with. Actress Joanna Lumley is a leading campaigner for the cause of beauty without cruelty.
I think the frivolity of it appalls me. And I think in the end it negates the whole point of beauty, which is almost always, unless you're the cruel witch, to do with love and gaiety and brightness and attractiveness. And I think that if you saw those little beasts being wired up or cut open or fed with stuff till they die, you'd rather go off it. Might go off the woman as well.
Might go off the woman.
All the cosmetics used by Joanna Lumley are made either from natural products or from substances tried and tested long ago. The trade name, Beauty Without Cruelty, guarantees just that.
Why I use beauty without cruelty is because it's good, simple stuff. Cunningly applied is as good as anything else, as everything is cunningly applied. There's no need to go to stuff which is £18 a bottle. There's no point in it.
However, the European Commission has plans for a directive that would mean hundreds of basic cosmetic ingredients would have to be resubmitted for test. Once again, beauty may have to call upon animals. Meanwhile, the pressure for alternatives is growing. The Fund for the Replacement of Animals in Medical Experiments, FRAME for short, is a trust set up to promote such work. For instance, using tissue and cell cultures for measuring toxicity instead of animals. But the science is in its infancy, and meaningful substitutes could be a long time coming.
Well, they wouldn't be if you would just emphasize them instead, you know. But here we are, what year was this? 1982! For fuck's sake. This is before I was born.
Most politicians are attracted by the idea that there could be substitutes for using animals in experiments. And most politicians are appalled at the prospect of health and safety regulations, which may be good in themselves, meaning that the numbers of animals will go up from some 4,700,000 2 years ago to some 25 million if these health and safety regulations are brought in.
Outraged by such a prospect, the anti-vivisection movement is gaining momentum. Raids on research laboratories and public demonstrations are becoming more frequent and increasingly violent. For many protesters, the issue is simple.
It's the shack. Yep. Stop Huntington.
Raids on research laboratories and public demonstrations are becoming more frequent and increasingly violent. For many protesters, the issue is simple. All experiments on animals are morally unjustified and should be banned.
It's that simple.
They are confident they could live with the consequences. But for the more moderate members of the...
I know some people talk themselves out of the simplicity of that. It is that simple.
Anti-lobby, who value the benefits to society of vivisection, the issue is more complicated.
No, it's not. It's not complicated.
They claim there is too much secrecy and lack of openness.
This fuck
and
again.
seek to reduce the number of animal experiments by tightening up the existing act.
Look at this. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, glad they showed that again.
They want a stronger Home Office inspectorate, working to much clearer definitions of severe and enduring pain, and license applications to be considered on ethical as well as scientific grounds.
What a monster.
The present government has pledged to update the 1876 Act, but time is running out. The demonstrations, the raids, the lobbying all add pressure.
The animal welfare movement hasn't really understood how Parliament and politics works. The only way you get action is by putting sufficient pressure on politicians to force them to act.
Wow. What an insightful comment. Unbelievably insightful. Man, sorry. Say that again? We didn't know this.
Animal welfare movement.
The lobbying all add pressure.
The animal welfare movement hasn't really understood how Parliament and politics work.
Right.
The only way you get action is by putting sufficient pressure on politicians to force them to act.
No government.
Oh, that's how it's done. Okay, thanks. Thanks. Cool.
Neither a Conservative government nor, let us be candid, a Labour government is going to stir up this particular hornet's nest in the 2 years running up to a general election. Somehow or another, excuses will be found.
There you go.
To delay the legislation.
There you go.
The Act has not run out of steam. It's obsolescent and it needs to be changed, but it's not yet at the stage when we can say that there is a crisis if it has to continue in being for another year or so. But we want to move ahead as soon as we can.
Well, trolls didn't stick around for that. No big surprise there. It was pretty powerful. I like that. That was a good little film. Cats. Didn't get into cats. All right, I'm gonna link to that. Well, that was something, wasn't it, guys? That's a good question there, Kane. That's a good question. Whoa. I think it was. You know, I can't read that. My shit's glitched. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna put this in both the things. Hang on. All right, guys. Hit the like and subscribe. And become a member so that you too can have all the emojis. Because right now, a lot of you probably are thinking, man, I just don't have those emojis. When you feel inadequate, you look around in your life and you wonder why things aren't going well. It's because of the lack of those emojis. Some of you guys are in long-term relationships and you may be looking at your partner and wondering, why can't I satisfy my partner? It is because of the lack of the emojis. I'm just saying, there are fixes. There are solutions to these issues. And they can all be solved by becoming a member of this channel. And there are 2 tiers. I will remind you. There is I Like Jeremy, which, you know, let's face it, we're all there, right? I mean, not everybody, but some people are already there. No. Sorry, it's not I Like Jeremy. It's I Want Jeremy. And then there's a more powerful membership tier, which is I Need Jeremy. That one tells me, that sends me a message. If you want to send a clear message to me, then, you know, you go with that one. And you send a pretty clear message by saying you want Jeremy. Yes, indeed. So, you know, there's that. There's also other things you can do, like hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell notification. And then there's also that little donate button as well. Have y'all seen that? That's up there pinned. That's one way to support the channel. That goes through Streamlabs. There's also super chats. Those are helpful. I have to hit $100 per month, guys, per month for it to hit the it's like a threshold. For some reason, you got to hit $100 or you just don't get the money. I'm not even kidding. That's a thing. I'm learning it as we go, but apparently you have to hit $100 or you just, I don't know, maybe the money gets sent right back to you. I have no idea. We'll find out. Because luckily my first month of payment, it was like, I hit it. But right now it's low. Jake Lagatere sent happy poop for 10 joules. I don't even know what that means. You guys are doing things that support the channel that I don't even know. So I don't even know what's going on anymore. I feel like I shouldn't even try to figure it out because who knows? There's a limit of things that you need to know about, you know? We all have like only so much capacity, I feel. Jason Gutt sent makeup brush for 6 joules. What does that even mean, guys? What is this joule thing? I have no idea what that is. What's going on? I don't even know. But you guys are sending poops and makeup for joules. And I feel special because I've never seen that before. And it looks like a gift. It looks like you guys are sending me a present or sending other people a present. I don't know. Joules are just pennies. Well, that's more pennies than I had before you guys sent that. So that adds to my collection of pennies. So I thank you. That means a lot to me. I mean, I couldn't do it without a certain number of joules. And you get me closer to that threshold of joules that I need. All right. I think that's enough groveling for one day, right? That's probably kind of annoying to listen to. You're like, yeah, we get it. We already liked your stream, watched your stream. That helps you. And here you are asking for more stuff. You know, it's just something you're supposed to do, I think, on YouTube. Okay. One more order of business is that I have a very cool interview that I think I will put out this weekend. It's going to be a good one. So you guys watch out for that. Third order of business, because we're on number 3 now, is that I think later tonight I will play Tomb Raider. And so for some of you, that means something. For some of you, it's like, okay, cool, have fun. But, you know, some of you guys are like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's watch Jeremy pretend to be a sexy archaeologist. You know? It's my dream. It's my dream. I always thought of myself from the young age. I always thought of myself as kind of a sexy archaeologist. And then society told me, oh no, not only are you not sexy, but you're not an archaeologist. You didn't go to school for that. Fuck you, society. I do what I want. And I am a sexy female archaeologist. And shame on you, society, for telling me who I can and cannot be. Canceled. You're canceled, society. I'll shut up because I think I should. But society is canceled. Yes, rich as well. Also rich. Lives in a mansion. An estate, even. A manor. It's a manor. We don't even have those, I don't think. Like in America, you don't call a big home a manor, I don't think. I could be wrong, but it sounds like a big fucking deal to live in a manor. I just live at Jeremy Ave. And so too can you if you buy a membership. All right. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. I really appreciate it. We will continue with these historical videos because they're so good. I did too, Kane. I did too. I'm confused. We'll have to go back and learn. We'll have to go back and learn the history because now I'm confused. My whole timeline's just been thrown off. All right. I'll end the stream if I can view my own video, which I can't because of the glitch, which I already made this awkward. Now it's going to be even more awkward as I wait for this all black screen, which is my stream, to appear so that I can find the end stream button. There it is. All right, I'm going to click it. I don't know if it's going to work, but you guys take care and thanks for the support. I clicked it. I don't know. Did it end? I don't even know. I don't know. I think what I should do. It's not working. I don't think it's working. There it is. In stream. I think